Welcome back to Roosters Radio, and joining us now, well, he had a bit of a rest last weekend up there at the Gold Coast. He's going to give us an update on his injury, but it's a warm Roosters Radio welcome to the man himself, Brendan Smith. Cheese, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Yeah, appreciate it. Is this my first time?
This is first time this year.
Yeah.
First time this year.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you were on last year. It was actually hilarious. You had this backdrop of Victor Radley's head because
That's
it was
right.
you were up at Queensland when
just
we
on the
spoke
Zoom.
to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
on
was
the
a
Zoom
Zoom,
call.
so that was quite funny.
Yeah, I don't
First
know how
time
that
face to
happens.
face.
Yeah, well done.
Now, mate, you had the week off, calf injury, a little bit of a niggle. How's it coming along? Will we see you this week?
Yeah, it was just a minor strain. I sort of copped it against the Eels, and then I was a bit crook at the start of the week, so I missed a couple of days of training, and that kind of slowed down the process of the healing and not being able to get physio and treatment on it early enough. So it was actually pretty upsetting because I was meant to play my 150th game against the Bunnies this year.
Oh, you're going to miss out.
And my whole family have already booked. My sister's flying over from New Zealand. Everyone's coming over, and now it's they got shirts made up, and now it's just going to be Brandon's 149th game. So hopefully they can get. My parents live in Brisbane, so hopefully they can get up for the game, the final, in the following week. But yeah, I felt real bad. I kind of ignored.
Surely you can stand the ticket for your sister for an extra week, right? Come on,
Mate,
mate.
I ignored all their calls until I was dead set called out for the game.
Yeah.
Then I rang him. I was like, I'm so sorry. I felt so guilty, but at the end of the day, that's footy, and it's their fault for booking too early. So
Oh, look, they're going to get a holiday anyway. So.
Just talking about semi-finals for a second there, Brandon. It feels like semi-finals have come early. It looks like we've got 2 games to play, but they're really, really important games, must-win games to cement that top 2 spot. Has there been much discussion about that over the past couple of weeks?
not really over the past couple of weeks, because it was only until this weekend we actually found out that we're actually a chance of being second place, and fortunately Canberra rolled the Panthers, and our for and against is really good, but it's a discussion point now, and it's a big one because a home final at Allianz against Penrith is a lot better than going and travelling to Penrith to play them. So it's definitely a focal point at the moment to get through these next 2 games, and they're games that we should win. But Canberra, going off the back of the form they've got and form they've gone against Penrith, it's a tough arc, and it's a special game with it being the emergency round. So. And the first one, I think. So I'm looking forward to being a part of that.
I also think Ricky likes to get his boys up when he plays the Roosters. I feel like there's a little bit of, the history of Sticky and how he left the club. I think he likes to try and get one back on us as well.
Yeah, well, there is some history in the grand final. I know that's still.
Don't mention the wall.
I know he's still
Six again.
burning about that. I know he's still burning about that, and I expect them to be firing away at us.
Well, it's not an easy run in either. Like you speak about the history with Ricky and the Raiders game, and then you've got the history with the Bunnies and the Bunnies game, and that's always a tough game coming into the end of the season. You've been here before plenty of times, coming into finals football. You're well experienced. What do you say to, the young kids in the team that it is their first experience coming in towards the back end of the season and into the finals? How do you get them there and hyped?
There's not many young boys in our team at the moment. They're all pretty seasoned vets. I think Sandon Smith is probably
Terrell May.
Terrell May, yeah.
Nafahu.
Yeah, Nafahu, but he hasn't been in the team lately.
John
But
Young.
I think things like finals, you think the game is going at 100 miles an hour. You think that you've got to do all this thing, but finals mentality is more about doing the little things more consistently and not trying to overplay your hand, and just whatever got you to the finals, that's what you got to do, and you got to do it 2 times better. Yep. Rather than trying to go and make a miracle play, but just all these little things you got to do, the 1%ers, as everyone always says, and doing them over and over and over again. And then when all the little things are done, obviously that's when the big things happen. So you just got to keep grinding out the hard stuff, and eventually you'll get the rewards.
Robbo talks about defence wins those big games, particularly in semi-finals. It's fair to say we've leaked a few points lately. Has that been a focal point, this week and in the past couple?
Yeah, I think Oh, it's definitely a point, like a 16 points on the weekend, I think, against Gold Coast.
20,
Or was it
20,
22?
20 something, 22.
22.
Yeah.
Don't even watch the game.
We did
No,
score
yeah,
48.
that's not good enough in the great scheme of things. You want to be letting about 12 points in. That's I guess the best mark for us. But at the end of the day, we're winning games, and some of the stuff we did against the Titans on the weekend. Obviously, Jared Simbin didn't help and puts fatigue, but I feel like we played a bit immature when we had the ball and gave them a lot of possession. While Jared was off, I think we did like a scrum, and then we dropped it on the first play of the scrum, and we were down 12 men. If you're down 12 men, you want to be holding that ball, and you want to be kicking the ball out and just trying to waste as much time as you can. And I think we just didn't really do that. And but yeah, we're building towards a good team, and we're not too bad in the defensive record. I think we're like 4th best defense in the comp, and that's a good starting point. But we just need to keep building on it. And also going into the finals, it's a big thing to win these next 2 games, not only for the second spot, but you want to go into the finals with momentum. You don't want to go into the finals after winning against the team that you should have, after losing against the team you should have won against, and just building that momentum and that confidence going into those games.
I want to ask you a question just based on that. We had Robbo in a couple of weeks ago, and you know how people talk about playing 80 minutes of football, you know, whether an 80-minute team, whatever. I put that to Robbo. I said, mate, teams can't play for 80 minutes. You might play 20 minutes really well, which we've been, you know, good at for the past couple of weeks. We, you know, after the first half, we'll score 20 or so on. Then the intensity drops for, be it fatigue or whatever it may be. The way Robbo put it, he said, look, I just hope that we can have a 0-0 gap where then, because we know the intensity will rise up again, or a 6-0 or a 12-0. Is that how you talk on the field? Like, you could probably feel the energy in on the field is kind of dropping as well. Is there a sense of that where your back's to the wall and you know you're in the grind for that? Because when it's flowing, and as fans we love watching it, but there will be a point in time where that, you know, the tries dry up. So what's it like as a player on the field?
Mate, I always used to say when I was a bench player, I always used to say, mate, when we were doing well, I go, mate, wait till we get on. Everything's going to change. We're going to be tackling the whole time we're on the field. But there definitely is that, like, sort of the periods in the game. I remember Cameron Smith used to break down games into 10-minute intervals. So, like, so he'd have the four games in the first half and 4 games in the second half, and he'd just try to win each one of them 10 intervals, and not really against the opposition, against his opposing number was one of his things. Yeah. But I guess it's a good way to break it down, and as long as you can, I guess, stay in that 20-minute block when things aren't going well, like Robbo said, as long as you don't get points or too many points scored against you, there's always that comeback, and when the boys, I guess, get that motivation to come back.
Mate, moving on to this week, and it's the emergency services match. Now, if you weren't a footballer and you could choose which, be it the police, firefighter, Ambos, Brandon Smith, which emergency service would you like to be in?
Probably firefighter.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Just because I don't think I could be an Ambo. I don't like... to the contrary, I don't like blood and looking at gashes, and I don't really like hanging out with sick people. It's not my favourite thing to do. Hospitals don't really excite me too much. Being a police officer, I can't deal with rat bags like myself.
I was going to say you've got form, but it might go against you.
I've got some bad form, so I don't think the police officers will let me in there.
So looking forward, we've got the Raiders on Sunday. Tuesday today, we don't know anything about, the judiciary and what's going to happen or whatnot. But what do we have to do to get the win up on Sunday? Home game, our last home game of the season, which is fairly exciting. So, yeah, taking into the game this weekend, what have we got to do?
I think obviously we've got to score more points than them. That'll be a great start to winning the game.
Hope so.
But I think it's our defence we've got to really nail. And I wouldn't care if it was a 12-6 victory over Canberra. But it's just, showing that maturity in our defence, and, because I know they're going to come hard, and they've got nothing to lose, really, apart like the final spot is a very glim hope for them, and they've got nothing to lose, so they'll chance their arm every way they can, and we're going to have to expect the unexpected, and just keep moving our legs and keep ticking our legs over. And at the end of the day, I think we'll get the win. I think we've got points in us. We just got to work on that D going into the finals and build that confidence and that momentum.
And obviously, mate, it's our last home game, so we get to send off, quite a few of our players that you've spent a lot of time with, both here at the Roosters and, representing New Zealand. Has much been said about that this week? And, are the boys going to rise as one to try and send our boys who are leaving us at the end of the season out winners?
Yeah, I think it hasn't been a big talking point. I think the players that are leaving aren't those kind of people that want to be told, how good they're going or how much we love them and stuff like that. I mean, Jared and Satilia, they're pretty straight up sort of blokes, and Luke Carey. But in the back of everyone's mind in this team, I believe there's that extra motivation, that extra edge to want to send these champions of players and there'll be life members and away in the way they should be left with this club. And I guess I don't think Jared will be out there with us this week, but a player like Satili, who I think over the last 5 weeks has just been one of our best players. Obviously started in reserve grade at the start of the year, and to see him killing it, I can tell how much this jersey means to him and how much we're going to miss him and he's going to miss us. So. And
I suppose Joey too, his story of how he got here, from New Zealand, flying over on a Thursday just to get across to, play under 15s and stuff like that. It's just an amazing story. So, I mean, to send him off a winner, be it not only this week, but, towards the final season too, is something I'm sure will be in the back of the players' minds.
Oh, for sure. Joey's one of the love childs of Robbo at this club, and he doesn't do a lot wrong, Joey Manu, so that's probably why Robbo loves him so much. But I've got a lot of time for Joe, and I respect him as an international Kiwis player, and he's been one of the best centres for a long time in this game. And if we could send these guys away with a premiership and really honour what they've done for not only this club but the whole game and in general, would be awesome.
Well, mate, we want to thank you for your time today. Best of luck on the weekend, and we look forward to seeing you in these next upcoming weeks as we play finals footy. Best of luck.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks,
appreciate it.